This week, we are going to talk about reporting fees on our Calix point. Eventually, we are going to I'm going to train you on submitting files to the actual lender. So the fees are one of the most important things because you can't add fees in or increase the fee amount once it's been disclosed. We have to send the initial disclosures and it's been acknowledged by the borrower, we can't increase the fees. So if we put a higher fee and then later on want to reduce it or remove it, we can't do that. But we can't say, let's say if we're going to charge 8,000 origination, but we only disclose 1,000, we can't add 2,000 afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so it's very important that you guys always verify with the loan officer in regards to the fees. We are having them update the broker, MLO broker submission. I don't think for this file they completed it, but it should look something. Once we have this, it'll have the origination section A charges, which is our origination, our processing, our underwriting. Sometimes they'll collect admin. If they completed this section, but the fee section right here, they're blank, always confirm with the LO, send them an email. We want to always get some written confirmation. If let's say they are not charging anything and you call them and they say, oh, yeah, we're not charging anything, but then later they come back and say, hey, we were supposed to charge this, well, at least we'll have that written confirmation that they specifically said, no, we're not charging. Or yes, that's the fee, whatever it may be. So if, like I said, if this was blank, you would send the loan officer an email just saying, hey, please confirm your fees on the ERP submission. I don't see fees on here. Yes. So now that kind of explained that, we on our Calix point, we opened our Calix point. We have our file, the left-hand side right here. You're going to go to the worksheet. It takes a while to upload, so just bear with me. We also have our Notion. We have the disclosure desk. Are you familiar with this, or do you have access to this?
Disclosure desk. Let me check. Yep.
Yeah. So I would recommend you to go through these trainings because, like I said, eventually you guys are going to start submitting files to the lender, and especially this initial disclosure. It's where we enter our fees, and again, the fees are one of the most important parts of sending out these disclosures. So I would recommend you go through these trainings when you have some time. So we're actually going to use how to look at this one right here. So I have so many tabs open right now. It's crazy. So we're going to do the date prepared, today's date. We're going to leave all this stuff blank for now. Eventually, when we start doing disclosures, we do have to complete this section. But for now, we're just going to skip over. We're going to click this one, and we're going to put giving tree ending. And then we're just going to start with the section A charges. So if you see our section A charges, you're going to go check our ERP page, the one I had previously mentioned. Sorry, can I put you on hold real quick?
Yep.
Hi, Vivian. Vivian, can you hear me? Hello.
There you go.
So where were we? So this blue highlighted, check the ERP page for the LO submission. It's the same. It's the fee sheet that I previously showed you. Like I said, unfortunately for this file that I opened up, they did not complete this, but we are implementing where every loan officer has to complete it. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, it's something that's automatically and we don't have to be reaching out. Hey, where are the fees? Hopefully they'll get a hang of it and complete this. Again, if it is like, always want to confirm with them. So as you see, always confirm with the LO. Our underwriting and our processing fee, it's usually always about the same. This underwriting fee depends on what lender we're submitting to. Sometimes it's a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. For training purposes, we're always going to put $14.95. Once you kind of get to know different lenders, you'll kind of know what their fee is. Sometimes it's just automatically there and you can't change it. Sometimes if you put lower, when they do disclose it, they'll just correct it for us. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to put it. So this origination, let me see if we have, okay, I don't think he even confirmed his fees. So for training purposes, as like I said, we're going to go here, we're on loan origination. We're just going to put lender and it's automatically going to import it here. So you can put it as a percentage. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, we're going to charge 1% of the loan amount. If you put 1 here, it'll automatically update it. If they say 2%, we just put 2 and it'll automatically do it. Sometimes they'll say, we're charging 7,000. We don't know. That's not specific percentage of the loan amount. So we can always just put it on this section right here and then it'll update on the other one. Okay. Processing fee, again, we'll just put lender, $9.95. Underwriting, we'll put lender as well, $14.95. If they are charging admin fee, as you can see, it's not on here. You'll just put admin fee, and then it'll be lender. And then let's say they do $6.95. They're not charging admin fee. We can just remove it. Okay.
Okay. So, all right, good. We're referring that funding fee.
So now this funding fee, as you see, it's a case by case. Funding fee for the most part is added only when we're submitting to UWM. When we submit to UWM, we're always going to add that funding fee. And again, we're just going to add it here. And then again, it'll be lender. And then we would just put $3.95. Okay. I'm actually going to remove it because this one is not being submitted to UWM. I'm not sure. I'm not going to add the admin fee because, like I said, this particular LO hasn't confirmed their fees. So I'm just going to add these basic ones, and I'll just actually put 1% here. Now, section B. Okay. So section A, it's all our fees, our loan officer fees, our lender fees. So again, you can't always over disclose this section, and I would recommend you always over disclose because you cannot add fees and you can't increase these fees. So let's say we add admin fee, right? We're adding the admin fee, but then when we submit it and disclose it, and then the loan officer says, oh, you know what, I don't want to charge admin fee, we can always scope and request to have this admin fee removed. Okay, but if we didn't disclose it at the beginning and then we want to charge it, we can't do that.
So much better if we're going to verify. So we can always request for removal, but we cannot request for adding if we didn't put it in the first place.
Exactly. Now this next section, section 3 of our fee section, it's the services you cannot shop for. So this section here, it's going to be all of the third-party fees. So as you can see, appraisal, credit report, any HOA certs, the master insurance. For the most part, I would say about 90% of the time, most all these fees are going to be POCs because they're paid outside of closing. Okay, because the borrower paid for it before. Because we can't get our appraisal report until it's paid for. Most of the time, we ask the borrower for their credit card information to pay for this report. Same thing goes to the credit report. In order for us to start the application and the pre-qualification and submitting it, we need a credit report, which needs to be paid for before we can actually view it. Again, we usually ask for the borrower for their card information, or if we're able to, we'll send a payment link for them to make the payments. Okay.
Yep.
So keep in mind, we're always going to over disclose all fees. The initial disclosures are going to have the fees at a high rate, just because, like I said, we can always reduce it. We can't increase it. So the appraisal report, we'll just put other, and it's going to be the AMC, and we're going to disclose it at 1,000 always. Early, I would say maybe never. I've seen it go over 1,000, but let's say we disclose this at 500, and then the report comes back at 700. There's a tolerance cure at that point that we would have to cover the $200 difference, even though the borrower already paid for it. There's a tolerance cure because we can't increase a fee. So we're always going to disclose this at 1,000. Does that make sense?
Yep. So that's always.
Yes. Credit report, we can just put KCB because that's what we usually run our credit for. If you see here, credit report is going to be disclosed at 300 per applicant or 500 for 2 applicants. So if it's a husband and wife file, we'll disclose it at 500. If it's let's say siblings, so we have bar 1 and then bar 2, which is their sibling, we'll just do 300 each. In this case, it's just him, so we'll just disclose this at 300. We're going to add this. I'm going to skip over these 2 fees just because it's kind of disclosed right here. We're going to add this tax cert, flood cert, and then this section, this PMI is for FHAs. If there's a mortgage insurance, it's going to be added here automatically. This VA funding fee is only for VAs, only veteran affairs loans. Okay, you can just put other here for these. Flood cert, we usually order it through KCB. Tax service, we'll just put other. So now I'm going to go back to this one. So this appraisal reinspection, or also known as a final inspection or a 1050, it's needed when the appraisal comes back that there's repairs that needs to be completed. Usually when the repairs need to be completed, the underwriter wants to verify that these repairs were done before we can fund the loan. So then we have to request this 1004D and have the appraiser go back to check on those repairs. So we're going to just final inspection. So we are always going to disclose this. Even if we don't need it, we can always remove it. I've rarely seen it go over 300, but we're going to disclose it at 300. This desk review, same thing. This one is going to be for jumbo loans, anyone where the loan amount is over $1 million, or any non-QM loans. So any of our non-QMs, which is our bank statements, P&Ls, DSCRs, what else? Any VOEs, those non-QM loans, that's when there's going to be this desk review. So this one in particular is actually a bank statement loan. So we're going to add this desk review. So this desk review is we have a third party review the appraisal report to make sure that everything's okay and nothing needs to be fixed before they can proceed. This first one, we're going to add it as well.
So that's default for MERS.
Yes.
195.
Let's say we added this verification of employment is only added when it's for a W-2 employee. So if this is in this case, you or I, where we're going to get a W-2 at the end of the year, we're going to disclose this verification of employment. And I would disclose it about 200 per borrower. So if this was to be 2 borrowers, I would disclose it at 400.
Okay.
This one, again, it's a bank statement loan. He's self-employed, so we're not going to disclose this verification of employment. This next one, master EOI and HOA cert. It's only if the property is a condominium. However, I would disclose this as 2 separate fees. So this master EOI would be 1 fee, and I would disclose this at 200. And then this HOA cert would be separate, and I will disclose this one at 500.
That's master EOI, was it 300?
About 200, I would disclose at 200.
HOA.
HOA cert is going to be separate fee at 500.
Okay.
This property doesn't need this fees. I think it's a 3-unit property, so we're not going to disclose these. These next ones depends on the loan and the state. So this survey fee and this doc prep fee, it's only for Texas files. This test inspection is only for VA files. And then this condo review is different than this HOA cert. It's only for condos, but only when we're submitting to Home Express.
Home Express.
Yes, it's a lender. So only when we submit to this lender, we're going to add this condo review. Okay. Any questions there?
Hold on. So survey fee, that's for Texas file. Test for VA file. Condo review for Home Express submission. That's all right.
Now we're going to move over to Section C files or Section C fees. So Section C fees, as you can see on our point file, it's services you can't shop. So just think about Section C as being our title and escrow fees. The bar is able to shop for their own escrow and title fees. For purchases, the seller, for the most part, will choose what companies they want to work for. But if the buyer decides they don't want to work with them, they want to go with a different escrow or title company, they do have an option to choose that. If it's a refinance, we usually have our go-to escrow and title, only because we have like an agreement with them and they will charge a little bit less than their normal files. But if the borrower wants to go with a different company, they can. It's not something where they have to stick with this specific company. Again, we are going to add the fees. So it's going to be $200 to $300 for our escrow fees. And I will also add it to the lender's fees, the title insurance fee. So now this part is where we'd require our master settlement statement or our settlement statement if it's a refinance.
All right. So going to
let me go back to the other page. So as you can see, this escrow fee, settlement agent fee, or closing fee, it's all the same thing. It refers to the escrow. So if we see this master settlement statement, our settlement charge here is this escrow fee. So they have it at $4,000. We're going to disclose this at $4,300. Pay to other, and then we'll just add the escrow's company name. So Green Leaf Escrow. They have this loan type in preparation. So they don't have a lot of fees already on here. So we're just going to type it in. So we're just going to add title. Even though this is an escrow fee, we're always going to put title dash and then just put in the fee name. So loan tie in fee other. So this doc prep is on here. Messenger 200. This I skipped over the wire.
little wire fee.
There's an archive fee. 300.
Yes.
So this one actually has a lot of escrow fees. I rarely see this many fees. So these last two fees, this creditor and refundable one, rarely see it. This archive fee, rarely see it as well. But that's just this escrow company. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and move forward and add these title fees as well. So this owner's titles insurance that's on here, it's for the most part paid by the seller, not the buyer. This one, it's also paid by the borrower. Even though it is on here, it's not going to be in our section C. So we're going to come back to this fee here, okay? Moving forward, we have this lender's title insurance. This lender's title insurance, also known as lender's premium or title's premium, that's going to be this one right here. So we're just going to go ahead and also over disclose it. So we have it at 1,226 and we're going to over disclose it by 300. So it's going to be 1,526. Again, we're going to go ahead and put up here and now we're going to type in the titles.
Title company.
Have a title recording. So we're just going to go ahead and keep typing it down here. Title. So there's this other wire fee as well. So even though it's also a wire fee, this is separate than the other wire fee. So it's different than this wire one that we have up here. This one goes to us, this one goes to the borrower, or to title. So then we have these recording fees. It is a title fee, but fees get paid to the county. They're disclosing it at 200. If you look at our sheet, we have two types of recording, the mortgage and the deed. And we're going to disclose each one at 200. So that one is actually going to be moved over to section E now. So it's not section C, even though it's part of our title fees, it's a section E. So we're going to go over taxes and government fees. We have the mortgage and the deed, and we're just going to put 200 here and 200 here. Sometimes there's a transfer tax that is added also to the settlement statement. This one doesn't have it, which will also be here. We'll just add it to the bottom right here. This notary fee, it's going to be part of your section C fees. We skipped over it. Let me go back up. It's on here. So we'll just put other, and then you can just put notary, and it's $375. This homeowner's insurance, this one that we have here, it's going to be part of our prepaids. So for purchases, we always have to collect 12 months upfront. So this has it right here. We'll just add 12. So this is going to be different only because we have the rate that we're submitting this at, and we're putting 12 months at that rate. It gives us this value. That's for just putting an estimate that we think the premium can be, which is why this is different than this. We would just put 12 here and have this automatically calculated. This prepaid here, we're always going to put 15. This will change as well because it depends on when it actually closes. So for training purposes, initial stage, we'll always just put 15 here. Section G is
Complete
the
insurance.
impounds. So section G is going to be our impound. So if we have an escrow account or it's going to be impounded, this is where we would input it. You want to make sure if it is impounded, you always want to make sure this is checked off for the insurance and for the property taxes. If it's not checked off, it's not going to show on a loan estimate that it's being impounded. Purchases, we're going to put 3 months here for reserves for the insurance. And then property taxes depends on when we're closing this file. So I have this impound saved. So if we're going to close next month in April and September, we're going to collect 9 months. So we would just put 9 months here. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I'm a little bit confused with the fees and everything. I'll just review the video. For 9 months, the one that you have opened, the impound schedule, can you share it to us so we will know?
I can share this. It should be in our Notion, I think. Maybe not. I can forward it to you.
Thank you.
Section here is section H, which is other. This one is where, in this case, we're going to go back to this owner's title insurance that I told you usually is paid by the seller. We have it here under section H. So we'll just go ahead and add the fee, and then this is being paid to the title company. On here, you will also, for purchases, sometimes you will see a transaction coordinator fee. That's where you would also input it into this section H here. You just put it here, transaction coordinator. If we know who it's being paid to, we can input this information, and then we just put the amount that they're collecting.
All right, so cool.
That's pretty much it. Again, it's very important that we over disclose at the initial stage, and we input all the fees in correctly. Yeah. Do you have any questions? I know it's a lot.
Correct. It's a lot.